Okay, we are going to go ahead and move to our last thing. This is called the quadratic formula. Okay, so we're doing 9.5, and there's this wonderful formula, and this is what it looks like. And there is people that, it's just a formula sung. I mean, somebody sings it. Yeah. Negative b plus or minus square root b squared minus 4ac all over 2a. But they sing it prettier. That is our formula that we're going to be using. And you should recognize these letters. So what's going to end up happening, and it doesn't really matter what the problem is. I'll probably come up with one that doesn't work perfectly, but that's okay. Actually, let's try the one we just did. So what was that, Veronica? What was that problem? Okay, so if they gave us this problem and we wanted to solve it using the quadratic, so solve, they want you to solve. What you're going to end up doing is realizing that this isn't 0. When you're going to solve and look for your A, B, and C, we really do need this to move. So we need to get that 5 moved over here so we identify our C correctly. So step 1, we need to find C. So we need to get that moved. So we got 11x minus, I said x squared minus, so that's negative 2 equals 0. So now we're ready to solve using factoring or the quadratic formula or graphing, but we needed that 0. Completing the square was the opposite of this. So now you should be able to come over here with our fancy little colors. Let's change our colors and go, and I didn't change my color. I thought I did, and it's not working. Maybe it won't let me. Okay, fine. There it goes. So A is 1, right? Isn't that 1 right there? And then B is what, Drew? It's right. It's the next number, negative 11. And C is going to be what, Kinsey? Negative 2. It's negative 2. Okay, so this was our A, that negative 11 was our B, and that negative 2 was our C. And now we have our numbers, we can substitute them into our quadratic formula. And I'm going to go ahead and jump to another page here to give myself plenty of room. So I got 1, a negative 11, negative 2. So I got A, 1, negative 11, negative 2. Here's my formula again. Yep, let's see what it looks like. Okay, so when I start substituting all this stuff in, you got to be careful because there's a negative here and there's a negative here on our B. So what's going to happen? Positive. Right, so we're going to end up with a positive 11 plus or minus. And when I put this in here, I want to put that in parentheses, put my squared outside, put my minus, put my 4, put parentheses, put my 1 in for the A, put my negative 2 in for the C, draw my line, and then put 2 times the 1. Anything there that you don't know where it came from, you need to ask. So, no, because this negative and that negative make it a positive. Good question. So now we're going to go inside our square root, and we need to get this stuff simplified. Positive, so we are now going to focus right here. This is where we're going to look. So I got my 11, my plus or my minus. I'm in my square root, and I'm focusing right here. What is a negative 11 times a negative 11? So 1, 21. Now I'm going to focus here. This is a negative 4 times a 1 times a negative 2. What is negative 4 times 1 times negative 2? Everybody know? It is 8. It's a plus 8. If I take a negative 4 and times it by a 1 and then times it by negative 2, I'm going to get an 8. That is going to be the answer for this part of the problem. Because they're 2 different letters. You can multiply those 3 things in any order you want. So now that I got the bottom, that's easy enough. Just 2, because 2 times 1. See it right? 2 times 1 is 2. So I got an 11 plus or minus. I'm still in the square root. Isn't 121 plus 8 is 129? Draw my line, put my 2 under it. Let's scroll up a little bit here. That plus or minus is going to give us our 2 answers. I do need a decimal for the square root of 129. So if somebody can come up with a 11 plus minus, and then I need a number for the square root of 129. So the square root of 129 is 11 point what? 36. Okay. So this is an approximate number. So I'm going to come over here and go 11.36 over 2. So far so good? I have 2 problems now. I got an 11 plus 11.6 divided by 2. I'm going to come over here. I got an 11 plus 11.36 divided by 2, and I got an 11 minus an 11.36 divided by 2. And those will be my two answers. So what is that, 22.36 over 2? I think I can do that, 11.18 for the first one. And then over here, I'm going to get a negative 0.36, I believe, divided by 2. And that's going to get me a negative 0.18. Can I, like that? Is it? If I go scroll back up, oh dear, I don't know where the little hand is. No. Here it is. This particular problem, I'm going to have to go back a page. Let's see. If we looked at this problem right here, if we tried to factor that one, we would have called this one prime. And that would have been, we could not have solved it using factoring. We could have solved it using graphing. Because does anybody know what the y-intercept of this problem is? Yeah, the negative 2 is the y-intercept. And then you could have plugged your stuff into your little axis of symmetry formula, blah, blah, blah. So let me pause this for a second. Okay, so here's another problem. And we're going to use our quadratic formula again. So our quadratic formula, negative b plus or minus square root b squared minus 4ac divided by 2a. That's your quadratic formula. And they're going to give you another problem. I'm going to write it a little smaller. I'm not for, no, the EOC gives it, can't see, I need to wear my glasses. Okay, so 3x squared plus 5x minus 12. And they want, the directions are going to say equal 0, and so the directions are solve. So as soon as you got to solve, you could, if you wanted to, try to do double parentheses and end up factoring this one. And this one would be hard. This one you cannot solve using factoring. Okay, this would end up being, we'd call it prime, and wouldn't be able to do it. But we do know the y-intercept is negative 12. We could plug it in and do the graphing if we wanted to, but we like this instead. So let's find all our letters super fast here. Okay, Drew, A, B, and C for me. Yep. Yep. Very good. That is correct. So there's your ABC. We're going to come over here, and I'm going to start filling in my quadratic formula. So Kenzie, fill in for me. Okay. Let's go back. Do you see any X's here? No. Nope, no X's, okay? So go again. For the B, what's the B? Okay, so I'm going to go negative 5. I'm plugging it into this formula. Plus or minus, there's the square root. What am I going to put in for the B? To the second power minus 4. What am I going to put in for A? What am I going to put in for C? And then what am I going to put in for A? Right, so that's just plugging the numbers into a formula. That's okay. So now I'm going to focus in on my square root part, so negative 5 plus or minus, let me get in here. So I need to find out what my 5 to the second power is. Bowen, what's that? 5 to the second. Right, and now I need to deal with this. I have a negative 4 times 3 times negative 12. You can put that in your calculator. Negative 4 times 3 times negative 12. And we should get something positive. 124? 144. Draw my line, put my 6 under it. Where's the 6 coming from, Eric? Right, so I got that. So I'm going to do one more step down here and then move over to the side. I'm going to add my 144, my 25, and get 169 in there. My 600, I think that's a perfect square maybe. 13 times 13? Okay, so I'm going to end up getting negative 5 plus or minus 13 over 6. Yes? Pretty good? Just in case I... Okay, thank you. And then to our last part there, plus 13 over 6, and negative 5 minus 13 over 6. and I'm going to stop.